up, everybody? It's Thursday, so you know what that means. It's time for my recap of one of my favorite TV shows, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. They were back last night with another episode. It did not disappoint. It picked up right where last week's episode left off, which was the incident between Sutton and Teddy. Oh my God. This episode was probably one of my favorite episodes thus far this season because there was so much drama. I just gotta say, like, I don't know what the hell has gotten into Kyle, but Kyle was a mess this episode. And let's just get right into it. It picks up right where we left off, like I said, and we find out that Sutton sent Teddy a very heartfelt text message and said, you know, I really want to come and support you and I want to be there. And if you'll still have me, I would really like to come to your retreat. And so Teddy's like, okay, fine. Then, you know, if she sent me this text message, I definitely have to like have her come. I gotta say this, they're in the car. It's Kyle and Erica Jane and Sutton, and I'm just really still not on board with these horrible bangs that Kyle has, but that's neither here or there. But Sutton is really nervous, and I cannot believe that, you know, I went kind of hard on Sutton the last episode, but I really felt sorry for her because I know that feeling when you've had like an incident with someone and you want to be in your best behavior, you don't want to cause any more problems or anything, and so you're just really like nervous to see them and nervous, and she's like, I'm going to be on my best behavior, and she literally starts to cry, and I'm like, Sutton, I might actually like you, I don't know, but I really felt bad for her because I think we all know that feeling. And so Erica Jane and Erica, she's one of those first last name people like me. But she and Kyle try to console her. They get to the retreat, and Teddy is just really not here for the BS. And she's just like, you know, if you're going to come and cause problems, like, you know, I'm not here for your BS. This is my job. This is important to me. And that's really what her reasoning was for the way that she said to them that she didn't care whether you come or not. But yeah, so we find out, you know, that they're doing this boxing thing, and Sutton is definitely not athletic. And, you know, it's kind of a comical moment, but she's still there to participate, and she's being a good Southern woman, and, you know, you're like, yes, ma'am, and, you know, whatever. And I appreciated that from her. She wasn't causing any kind of problems, because that's the thing with Southern people. They can cause problems and get things riled up, but they definitely know how to show their manners and how to act when it's time to be appropriate, you know. But they can definitely throw shade like Southern people can throw shade like nobody's business. My mother's Southern, like all my family is from the South, like, trust me. But Dorit shows up just in time for lunch, and Dorit, of course, is always giving looks and always just like slaying with these amazing, like every time you see Dorit, she looks completely different than the last time you saw her. I appreciate that with her. That's what we want out of a housewife. But Kyle just really is not here for it. She gives her complete shit for her having glam, and she's just like, is this why you were late? Like, you know, she says that in her confessional, is that why you're late? Because you were in an hour of glam, or you spent all morning getting ready, and it's just sort of like, why is that your business? Like, why do you care why she was late? We already knew, like, Teddy knew that she was going to be late. Like, Teddy knew, like, you know, she said to her, I'm going to be late, and then Teddy knew, like, not to wait for her, and because, you know, Dorit has a history of this, but Dorit let her know, so Teddy wasn't upset by this. So it's like, why is Kyle got such a hard on for her? It was just really made no sense to me. And it's just like really crazy to me. But Kyle, during their free time, which is where they can go and get like treatments, like they can go and get a spa treatment and get a massage, whatever. Kyle brings up the invite, like, you know, why did Teddy have this whole thing about like, you know, I did not want you guys to come or whatever. And then we see a deleted scene where Dorit says that she said she didn't want us to come, and Kyle defends her, of course, and says, I did not, she did not say that. You know what I mean? She didn't say that. And she's like, You weren't even there, Kyle. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, she was not there. And, you know, we find out, and I told you guys this last week, and I was totally serious about this. I knew that the reason that she was so riled up was simply because of that conversation that she had in the car with Lisa Rinna. Oh, shit, starting Lisa Rinna got her thinking like, oh my God, people are going to come, they're going to misbehave. So she's just like, I really just don't want you guys to come. So Teddy says, like, you know, that was the reason that that I was all riled up. And so she confirmed my theory, and I was right. I love being right. No, I'm kidding. But Lisa Rinna is not even there to pick up the pieces, but, you know, she's always stirring that pot. That's what her job is to do. She stirs that pot. So Dorit had this look on her face, which I love, that was just like, I was right. Like I just said, like, you know, like she was just like, because Kyle says to Teddy, you didn't say that. And she's like, well, kind of confirmed, like, yeah, I did say it, you know? And I just thought the look on Dorit. Dorit is like my spirit animal. I love it. But so, yeah. So then Dorit, Dorit was like, I'm coming to support you. So this is the thing. Teddy was just like, she was just like, you know, and like people were saying that they're coming just to support. And, you know, if I was going to Erika Jayne's concert, you know, I wouldn't say that I'm only here just to support you. Like basically like, I don't want to be here, but I'm only here to support you. And so Dorit says, who said that? Like in Portia form, who said that? She's just like, well, who said that? And she's like, well, actually you did. Now, come on. She's an accountability coach. So of course she's going to remember, you know, and bring it up. And like Teddy is a kind of accountability coach to a fault. She remembers every single thing and every little detail of everything. And so she was like, yeah, you were the one that said it. And she's just like, it just doesn't really make any sense to me. Like, why would you just want to come and support? And I actually get that, because if somebody comes to my concert and they don't want to be there, but they're just there to support me, like, I want you to want to come, like, not just because you just want to be supportive of me. Like, there's a ton of people that are going to support me and whatever. I want you to not only support me, but I want you to want to be there. So totally understood where Teddy was coming from. And so Dorit, the funny thing is, she's like, so what's the schedule? And Teddy's like, well, we're going to have dinner around like 8 or whatever, but like at 5 o'clock, there's going to be an hour-long meditation. What? Now, Dorit is totally me, because I cannot sit still for an hour meditating. Like, I only sit that still when I'm sleeping. And like for me, like, I'm just not a meditation kind of person. For me, I always say my glam is my meditation. But it just was really kind of funny to me, because she's just like, oh no, I can't do that. Like, I'm definitely not going to sit for this meditation. And again, Teddy seems fine with it, because Teddy's not going to let anything ruin her event. And I totally respected that. So now they go to the bar. And when they get to the bar, Sutton and her make up, and I thought that was so sweet of Sutton. Like, it was very genuine. Sutton was definitely like, you know, I really apologize. And then Teddy apologized too. And she's like, well, I probably was an overreaction, you know, but it just was like a lot building up to it. And Sutton was just like, you know, you did a really good job here. And I'm really sorry for making you feel that way. So that was great. But then Dorit is offended, because she's just like, well, you know, I was really genuine when I said that it was very heartfelt, and it was very sweet when I said to her that I wanted to be there to support her. And she, you know, did not want to, she's like, this takes me back to last season, you know, when she was scheming against me. I don't know, like, which Teddy I'm getting. I kind of thought that was a bit of a reach. I'm just like, you know, she just had a point there, and it wasn't about her scheming against you like last season, but, you know, whatever. And so, you know, the Lucy apple juice, I'm like, please just don't bring that up again, because I just can't take the Lucy apple juice. But Dorit wants to leave, and she's like, you know, well, she doesn't care that I'm here. She doesn't want me here. Then, like, why am I here? Like, I showed up, you know, it's like, and Kyle is just like, you can't, like, come late and leave early. And they go back to the room, and this is where the shit hit the fan. It's like Dorit and Kyle start arguing over it's the most pointless argument. And I get, like, that Teddy and Kyle are close, but what is the point of Kyle having such like, it's just, it really is like, is there a deeper issue here? It's just like, is she just like, I think there's something boiling that's more there, that she is really into this whole thing with Dorit. And that this argument has been brewing between these two for a while. Like, I really feel like Kyle has other issues with Dorit. It can't just be this. Like, it really can't. And I feel like it's going to get worse. But I guess we'll just have to keep watching and see. But I thought, like, it was kind of, like, I felt kind of bad because Teddy was like, remove the mats. She had all personalized mats with everyone's names on them for the meditation. And she's like, my friends that were here with me earlier, like, remove those mats. And I'm like, well, she went out of her way and spent money to do that. Like, that's a lot of mats to get everyone's names on there. Like, I know, like, that, you know, she spent money on that, and I just kind of felt really bad for her. I mean, not that she doesn't have it, but just like, it was a personalized thing, and I think they probably would have felt really good seeing that, and they probably felt like complete trash, you know, when they watched this episode and saw that, but who knows. I don't know if it's just through the magic of editing. I think that the producers want us to believe that everyone that was doing meditation could hear them because they did like the sound over, but I really don't think that they heard them. I think that was just something they just wanted to add to it, but I feel like it would have been brought up had it, like, Teddy would have said something like, we could hear you guys arguing. I don't think they were anywhere near that meditation space, but that's just the magic of television, you know, being shady, the producers. And now it's dinner time. And Denise finally shows up because she had been working all day. And again, Teddy knew that she was going to be late. But she asks, like, she opens up this can of worms, like, did you guys have a good time? And Sutton's like, oh, you don't want to ask that question, because then it starts another argument. Here's round 2 of Kyle and Dorit. And it's just sort of like, what is your problem? Like, Dorit is like, it's not even your event. Like, Teddy's not even pissed at me. Why are you mad? Like, what is your issue with me? And Denise says, oh, it's so nice of you to have this event and invite your dysfunctional family. And I felt like, you know what? Nailed it right on the head, because it's almost like a dysfunctional family. Like, you guys just can't show up and not misbehave, and you're so close to Teddy. Kyle, why are you causing this issue and trying to ruin the event? It almost felt like Kyle was trying to, like, had been told by a producer that she needed to drum something up, and she just pulled this out her ass. Like, it just made no sense to me at all. Yeah, so there was that. And Dorit was like, you're making me look like a selfish diva, and it's just weird. I don't know why she has such a hard on for this girl, but whatever. Then we get a scene with Amelia and Lisa Rinna addressing her issues with anxiety and her eating disorder. And I really don't understand, like, I don't know if this is, like, good that we're talking about this on TV. Like, it's good in one aspect where it's, like, showing, you know, putting a face to the eating disorders and all that stuff, and a discussion that needs to happen because it is a real issue with young girls and people all over the world. But I kind of felt like, is it making it worse for Amelia to have to, like, air this out on TV? But I mean, when your mom's Lisa Rinna, I guess it's kind of like, just, you know, you're thrust into the spotlight, and then she's also a model too, so I guess maybe she feels like maybe she could help somebody. Maybe Lisa said to her that maybe you could help somebody by sharing your story, or help me out with this storyline, so I have one. I mean, I don't know, because it seems like Lisa Rinna never really has much of a storyline. It's just her stirring up the pot, but we love her for that. She doesn't have to have a storyline. We love her for stirring up the pot. But we get to Denise and Aaron. They're still worried about, you know, they still have anxiety and traumatized by the fires from last year, which is totally understandable, because some more fires had started and close by their new house. And so they're planning on having a party. And she's like, you know, make sure that you ladies wear comfortable, wear heels that, you know, your heels will sink down on the ground. And I appreciate that, because I've been to parties before that were outside on the grass and I didn't know it, and I wore like pointy heels and I'm stepping down in the grass, or somebody that had a deck and my heels were going through that hole in the deck, and every lady that wears stilettos knows that. So I appreciate her telling them that. That was just a small side bit there. Then Garcelle and her parenting, co-parenting, she's really strict with her kids. And I appreciated it because she, like she said, she's like, I'm a black mama. Like, I grew up in Haiti, you know, just because you're privileged kids, like, you're gonna know how to do things. And I really appreciate that. It brought me back to what I was watching earlier in the day with Michelle Obama talking about how she raised Sasha and Malia in the White House, but she was not raising kids that didn't know how to make a bed. You know, they had chores and they had things that they need to do, you know. But I thought it was kind of funny that they can't have Coke. I don't drink Coke, but I just was like, okay, interesting. She doesn't let them have Coke. It's like kind of a treat for them. And they've been sharing a room up until now, and now they're going to get their own room. But what was really surprising to me is the one kid was like, we're 11. And I'm like, y'all are 11? They are really tall. I guess their mom's tall and their dad's tall, but like, good Lord, I thought they were at least like 15 or 16. And then I understood, okay, yeah, 11-year-old. You got to think they're 11-year-olds. That's why she's like, you can have Coke or not have, you know, whatever. And the one kid is like, oh, I want Gucci. Like, you got Gucci, I want Gucci. And she's like, I'm an adult. And I think it's funny because they're wearing Supreme, which is also name brand. But like, it's you know, like kids, they want Gucci and like they see things on TV and they're like, you have Gucci. And she's like, I'm an adult, you know. And so we get to Denise's party and Kyle is just getting on my absolute nerves. I just don't understand what was going on with her this episode, because then she starts like criticizing the fact that there is a diamond sculpture. Well, you're on a show that has a diamond as your mascot. Like, you hold a diamond. So why are you, you know, upset? Like, I thought it was kind of nice that it kind of had a theme, like, this is for you ladies, because that's really all this party was for. It wasn't a special occasion other than like, you're just inviting you guys to my house. And we all, like, even though they're not supposed to talk about that they're filming the show, it's like breaking the fourth wall, but like, it's a nod to like diamonds. And she's just like, oh, all of a sudden, like, Denise is fancy all of a sudden. It's just like, you just had a party that had like catering and butlers and like staff and like, come on. And it was super fancy. So, and look at your house. Like, why are you criticizing this woman just because, you know, she normally is more like understated glam or more like just boho chic, whatever. I just didn't understand that. But so she's complaining about that. And Lisa Rinna calls Denise a flake because Denise was a little bit late, but Aaron was there to greet everybody. I'm guessing they took that sound bite from there, like the magic of television again. Denise is a flake, probably from when Denise actually leaves the show, and that's when Lisa Rinna says that, but they used it in this part here of the show. I don't know, possibly, that's kind of my guess. But they're saying, you know, she's late for her own events, whatever. Come to find out that Dorit had a whole photo shoot before on IG. And let me tell you, these pictures were amazing. And I follow Dorit on Instagram, and we've actually DM'd before. And she never, ever, never disappoints. I absolutely love seeing her Instagram stories. Sometimes I think that it's Morgan Stewart, who's also a favorite of mine, because they look so much alike, so I have to check. But the looks are just always slaying, and I absolutely love her for that. She did a whole photo shoot. And, you know, I'm one of those people that I understand that a photo shoot these days can be with your iPhone in your house and takes like 2 seconds and a little bit of retouching. Like, it doesn't take, she didn't do a whole like 2-hour-long photo shoot, but maybe Kyle just doesn't understand that. I don't know. But she went in on that and was talking to Lisa Rinna about it. And apparently it's become a thing that everybody's talking about now. So she's like, oh, so now it's a thing, you know, whatever. But I feel like it was just kind of like more just nitpicking, like, oh, okay, this is the reason that you were late, you know, whatever. And I cannot stand when people assume that the reason that I'm late to anything, if I'm late, I try not to be, but I just cannot stand when people think that the reason that I'm late is because I was glamming, because they just see someone who's always done or glammed up, and they just assume that the reason that you must be late is because of your makeup and hair, and that's not always the case. There might have been traffic, there might have been some other thing, you know, whatever. But people will always blame it on that. So I always feel like if you're a glamorous girl, you always got to be on time, because people are always going to blame it on she was working on her look. But whatever. Side note, Denise will always jump at a chance to talk about her husband's penis, because they were talking about, she made a joke saying that he let himself go after a year of marriage, and Dorit didn't get the joke, and she was just like, no, honey, he didn't let himself go. He still got those muscles and the really big penis. That she references him a lot in that way, and it's just kind of funny that she always, you know, talks about that. But The conversation then goes left when they start talking about lesbian experiences. Because I feel like Dorit was trying to get them to talk about this conversation. So that's why she mentioned the whole thing between them being in the bed together. Kyle and Teddy, that they were in the bed together. And she was like, oh, is that the reason that you guys are so close? And she's just like, oh, so now you're saying that I'm a lesbian. And then we start talking about lesbian experiences. And then we find out all this information that we never knew, but could have guessed. First of all, Erika Jayne was in a throuple. Who knew that? That I'm not surprised, but it's kind of like, oh, okay, right, I get it, all right. Garcelle had a threesome and has been with girls before and also had a threesome. She's just like, that's between me and her, and we're like, oh, so you were in a threesome with girls and you kissed a girl and you liked it. What was really shocking about that is that Lisa Rinna, who is just wild and crazy, has never been with girls before. So I was just like, okay, if I had to choose anybody, it would have been Lisa Rinna and maybe Erika Jayne. But no, Rinna's never been with girls before, so there you go. But the kids were around, and so Denise was getting kind of anxious about the kids being around. But then we get Kyle and Dorit round 3. I'm like, oh my God, here we go again. But then it really starts hitting the fan because she talks about Teddy and Kyle's friendship. And she also talks about how Kyle is in such defense of Teddy and that they're such a package deal. And I just cannot with Kyle. But I did agree with her when she's just like, I did defend you. I lost one of my closest friends defending you. And then the whole thing with Lisa Rinna. And Lisa was like, well, no, not if it's your sister. You wouldn't defend us, whatever. And she starts talking about you showed up in your fake workout clothes and your Barbie glam and all this stuff. And it's just like, why are you being so mean? It makes no sense at all. And it just, again, none of this made sense coming from Kyle. But she's like, you talked about you were being mean because you said that we slept in the same bed. She's like, but that was actually true. You did sleep in the same bed. I wasn't calling you a lesbian. It's just that you guys slept in the same bed. That's how close you guys are. The teens are really getting an earful at this point, and Denise is trying to calm everybody down. And then Kyle makes this comment about Denise, where when Denise, she's just like, oh, all of a sudden, she's so glam, whatever. She's wearing a ponytail her whole life, and now all of a sudden she's like, whatever. And she calls her ragamuffin. And I'm just like, first of all, let's all be clear. And I've met Kyle in person, and Kyle is beautiful, so this takes nothing away from her beauty. But Denise Richards, dressed down on her worst day, looks just as beautiful as Kyle dressed up on her best day. So, why are you talking about this? It's I know Kyle has a tendency when she gets drunk. I said last week that drunk Kyle is a mood, but this week she was not my mood at all. And then, Kyle, we talked about Kyle defending Teddy, and she starts crying and all this stuff, and it's a mess. I just can't. It's to be continued. Trust me, next week is going to be even more crazy because she and Denise are going to get into it. She shushed Denise on this episode at her own house, and Denise was just saying that's, you're being rude, calling her an asshole, whatever. But it's just too much. And I like Kyle, I do, but this was just a bit much for even me. But stay tuned, we'll see. Next week I'll be back with another review of these crazy ass women that bring the drama. We appreciate you bringing the drama. It's very entertaining for us. Thank God I do not have friends like this. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.